This is the wrong camera. You know why? Because I forgot the right camera. I left it here at the nursery in my truck. This morning I woke up elsewhere, went to go pick up the battery for the RX8. Thought it'd be good to give you a little vlogging on it. But the camera wasn't in my car. I left the camera in my truck yesterday. We got the RX8 running and it was kind of exciting, and shit happens, you know? I went to go pick up the battery today. Battery's not ready. I think they didn't even bother putting it on to charge. They had tested it and said that it needed to be deep charged. Said the same thing when they tested it today, which means they either didn't charge it or it didn't take a charge. So they put it back on the charger for 35 minutes worth of charging. I've got to drive an hour south, then 2 hours north, and all over the fucking place. So maybe we get the battery later today, maybe we don't. We'll see. Doesn't matter. Battery's in the car from the truck still. Keys are still locked in the car. My buddy was going to come by yesterday and help out with that. Things changed. I went to some holiday light show, took my daughter, all that. What's up? Got the good camera back. Went ahead and threw it in the Fiesta because we're going to take the Fiesta for a little spin, go get some coffee. Then we're going to come back and get the truck, go get some plants. Maybe later we'll work on that. That being the RX8, if you can see it out the rear window there. Yeah, that's going to get some work later on. Right now, the stomach is going to get some work with some highly caffeinated Cuban coffee. I'm not sure if that's contradictory or if they complement one another, but Cuban coffee is definitely caffeinated. My buddy just rebuilt the engine about 15,000 miles ago. So not only did I get a good deal on a fresh rebuilt RX8, I got a great deal on a really freshly rebuilt RX8. Throw in the truck. All right, time to go get those plants. One of my favorite parts of the day because I love taking my truck out. Not gonna lie, I definitely have been enjoying the Fiesta a lot, like more than my truck for sure. Like it's more fun to drive in normal daily driving situations. But this truck is just so fast. It's like a different kind of fun. That turn would have been a lot more fun in the Fiesta. That's like a prime example of what I'm talking about. Like, you know, I had to slow down so much, and then still, it felt like I was racing through that turn, going like 12 miles an hour. If I had this much work done in a truck like my gasser, the short bed 2500 that only weighs 7,400 pounds, it would be ridiculous. But this is a full tow rig. I don't know if I've gone over the details of this truck. This truck is it's a 2011. I bought it brand new in November of 2010. Silverado 2500 HD. I've had failing emission system from like the third or fourth week I had the truck. It immediately started to throw limp modes on me, and I've had everything done. I mean, they replaced the entire DEF system. They replaced the extra injector. They replaced the selective catalytic whatever reduction system, the SCR. The only thing they never did replace was the DPF, which we'll get to that in a moment here, but basically everything in the emission system other than DPF on the exterior of the motor was replaced. I believe they even did the EGR at some point. I know at some point my ECU went out, or ECM, sorry, because it's on this car, it's an ECM and a TCM. So my ECM went out. The ECM went bad, they replaced that. TCM went bad, they replaced that. That's about 2 years by the time we get to that point. A little later down the road, I have an issue with failing emissions once again. Failing emission system once again. I'm limp mode. It's shutting down the truck and giving me all kinds of hassles. I had a couple knock sensor issues also prior to that. They replaced one under warranty. Another time I had a knock sensor issue that once I knew what it was, I was just like, screw this, I ain't wasting my time going in for fucking warranty work. I'll just fix the knock sensor problem myself. It's fairly straightforward. Yeah. So, take the truck into Chevy about 3 years into ownership, maybe even 4 at this point, but you know, like I said, they knew damn well they had plenty of problems. It had been back and forth to the dealerships. Everybody was aware that this was a problem truck. I just wasn't aware that I needed to be filing and you know, filing limit law paperwork already and notifying them that I believe there's a problem. You know, that's a big catch there. You know, when you think there could be a problem with Livens, you got to immediately notify, at least in the state of Florida, you got to immediately notify them and let them know what's going on. And that way you have it documented so that when you get to my point where you've given them the benefit of the doubt for 4 years, they just can't seem to fix it, and all of a sudden they want $2,500 to replace a DPF, which I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. One dealership locally that I took it to, they offered to do the DPF, I believe, for $1,600, which, you know, yeah, it's a big discount off what it does cost, but the EPA even mandated an extended warranty on these vehicles because of their failing emission systems. And for whatever reason, Chevy just kept denying it and didn't want to take care of it for me. They wanted to make me pay for the DPF. They said they've already done enough work to it. At some point, it becomes owner maintenance issue. So I figure if it's going to be an owner maintenance issue, I'm going to turn this into every other diesel truck I've owned. So, like I said, that's when we ended up back over at my buddy's race shop and we got all this stuff dropped off. We got some special work done to the computers. You know, ton of work done under the hood, and that's how we got to where we are now, man. That's the reality of this deal. But yeah, so this truck weighs 10,000 pounds. I'm a landscape designer, and I do a lot of hauling of big trees and loads of rock and stuff like that, so I gotta have the diesel power, and I went ahead and got the heavy duty towing package. I believe it's called Z89 or Z87, something like that. Got the heavy duty towing package. It gives you a 10,000 pound chassis, huge fuel tank, a bunch of nice little extra goodies, just make towing that much better for you. The only weak point of a 10,000 pound truck that's set up for towing is that it's a 10,000 pound truck. It can tow like a mother. Weight being 10,000 pounds, it doesn't go very fast in stock trim. I mean, it was quick. I definitely smoked a lot of older vehicles in particular. But until the emission system decided to go ape shit on me, I was actually like okay with the amount of power it had. It pulled plenty. It was like 400 horsepower, 700 some odd pounds of torque. I think 397, 786, if I'm not mistaken, was the original numbers. Maybe I'll like put them in there if I can figure that editing crap out. The torque being so high, even though it's a 10,000 pound truck, it gets up and it moves. And once the emission system went crap, I tried to limit law the truck. I had plenty of documentation. From what I understood, I should have been able to, but I wasn't aware of how limit law worked and stuff, and I kept giving them the benefit of the doubt that they'd fix the truck. And really, in those first couple of years, when the truck first started to fail, I should have been documenting it and filing for limit law then. But that'll be a story for another day. Maybe talk to somebody who's actually done it properly. I didn't get the limit law. They rejected it and then became major assholes at the dealership. And once again, more stories for another day. But the truck was down with them for about 6 months, and I ended up taking it to my private mechanic, a guy who's been working on our fleet trucks for our family for a long time. He couldn't get anything done with it. He said the computers were just way above anybody's league that he could find. Nobody could get into that shit. So I went ahead and took it to another guy I know who is not so much of a mechanic but more of a race guy. Had this thing tuned and had the main emission system components bypassed or deleted as necessary. Then through the course of time, I went through
bypassing and eliminating every one of those emissions components that was just not running in there. And basically the truck now is a emissions compliant diesel. Anybody who's dealt with one of these newer trucks with these emission systems, I don't know if the newest of new have not gotten any better, but I know for the first few years there, everybody was having the same problems. Honestly, I kind of feel bad talking right now because I'm feeling like, wow, I forgot about all the people who were having problems the day I went and did all that to my truck. And mind you, what made the truck finally work was about $3,000 worth of parts and work and tuning. I spent more than you had to spend on tuning. Some people would spend less, but I figure if the truck's going to be reprogrammed from what there was millions of dollars worth of engineering put into, it definitely ought to be done by somebody who knows what they're doing. So yeah, under the hood, I've done the EGR delete. I've done the PCV rerouting. I've done the heater grid delete. I've done all the coolant bypasses to get rid of all that good stuff. I've done the resonator block off. Removed the what's that called? The stock fuel filter. I removed the stock fuel filter and plumbing for it, and installed all those components into I don't remember the brand now at the top of my head. It's anodized nice and pretty red. It's under there, and it's got this little adapter that lets me put a Caterpillar filter on it. Then that Caterpillar filter, that's fed back by a fast 750 platinum fuel pump, lift pump, with water air separation, all that good stuff. 3 microns, doohickeys, you know. I was having issues with rail pressure dropping when I initially tuned it and just did the delete of the exhaust and just got the basics done. It definitely needed more pressure in the fuel system, and along with that pressure, it needed everything else gone. Did it? It got everything else done. And now she's just my little work truck. She makes quite a bit of power more than she made from the factory. I've not put her on the dyno and actually made a true cold, so you know, I've spit numbers out there based on what the guy who did the programming would say with the modifications that I've got going on here. And, you know, it goes. It's all that really matters. Messed up on that one. It happens sometimes, you know. Let y'all see me get. I think we got a little room to cut off here. Oh nope, we got blocked by a Toyota. Son of a gun. We got our plant, man. Check it out. That's the one plant we drove all the way out here for. Wasn't a big load today. No trailer, not much of anything actually. But a buddy of mine, his mother-in-law, wanted an unknown tree for Christmas. So he's getting an unknown tree for Christmas. It's actually not a dirt road, it's what we call down here an unimproved road. I guess this was at one point even an improved road, because there was some kind of pavement done here at some point in history. I don't think it's been fixed since Hurricane Andrew at the very least. Did I say hurricane? I said hurricane. That's Florida for you, boys. And that's why I love this truck, because we're at 70 miles an hour already. Like, you know, sometimes I make a pull. But we're in Mexico right now. I don't know if I told you, we had to go all the way to Mexico to get this plant. Next up is how we smuggle it back across the border. And how we avoid the cartel while doing so. Whew. No, I'm just kidding. We'll stop at a federal agricultural checkpoint. We'll have them like do the process. Do fruit trees get due process? Or do they process? Questions, unanswered questions. That mailman was getting attacked by dogs. That's kind of funny. I'm going back to work on the RX8 soon. I'm gonna hit up Josh, see where he's at. Need to find out about getting